All right. Welcome to Nothing is OB Golf Podcast, episode number 35. I always have a special guest for the most part, but I've been an admirer of Robert's for a long time.
I'm 35, by the way. I'm not number one. I'm 35. Just go ahead.
Well, thank God. I'll tell you a little story about number one. But I got one of my good buddies. I got the first assistant at Fort Sam Houston golf course, Robert Vasquez. How you doing tonight, Robert?
I'm blessed, brother. How you doing tonight, my brother?
I'm doing great, man. I'm super pumped. Super excited. I always say that, but I really am. I'm like a giddy schoolgirl whenever I do these podcasts because I'm super excited to hear your stories, what your responses are, and just from talking with you before, I was really pumped up to do this podcast.
Give me the number one reason.
Just because.
Wait,
you
gotta look at my eyes when you talk to me, brother.
Well, you do what I wish I could do right now is be on the golf course, work on the golf course, see the golf course as your front yard, side yard. That's really, I envy guys like you. I do.
So let me ask you a question. I'm a customer. I'm not calling in for a I'm okay. What tee times do you have available?
I got the 804.
No, I was looking for something a little bit later.
805 or 8? What is it? 809? 815?
Something mid morning.
936.
No, mid morning, like maybe 10:30 to 12:30.
I got 12:32.
That's a little bit too late. I mean, something. So let's just make sure you understand what goes on. That when that phone rings and we answer those calls at a golf course, we get those questions.
Well, I believe it because I'm on the other end. I'm the one doing that. I'm like 836. Do you have like a 849? You tell me what are their increments in that you?
Depending on the golf course, some golf courses have 5, 7, 10, 14. But through this whole COVID thing, they want them to be 6 feet apart. Not possible.
I was like, hold on. I'm trying to think. What is 6 feet in minutes? What is 6 feet in minutes?
The reason, but it's one of those things. I like being in the golf business. I like being greenside. I'll tell you a funny story that I said I want to know the retail part. Of the PGA process of being in the PGA, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's when I was in the program. We'll get to that because the PGA and me have issues right now.
Yeah. I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
It's real good issues. Anyway, so when I was going through that program, I wanted to know the retail side. And this was a funny story, brother. I went to go work for Dick's, right? And I won't say what location, but Dick's Sporting Goods, And I said, I want to learn the golfsmith part of this, right? I want to understand how to build clubs, how to bend clubs, what's the, the degrees and what the balance and line, everything that goes into knowing what a golf club does. It doesn't just do one thing. So anyway, my first week there at Dick's, they're the head pro. I won't name his name, but I love Jeff to death. Anyway.
Yes, this is the juice. This is the juice I need. This is the juice I want.
Okay, anyway, it's not the Dick's in New Braunfels, but it's the Dick's somewhere close by New Braunfels, and they only have one, by the
way. Yes.
Anyway, so I get there, and it's my first week, and Jeff says, hey, I'm going to go to lunch, right? And this is the guy that I'm doing my apprenticeship under, and he's teaching me how to be a golfsmith, how to, do clubs and how to bend clubs, do re-grips. Re-gripping is so easy. Well, this guy, Jeff goes, hey, I'm going to go to lunch, Robert, handle the counter. And I'm thinking, okay, I can do grips, I can change out, normal stuff. You know what I mean? This guy comes in and says, I want my clubs extended by a ½ inch. I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that. I can do a ½ inch. So me not ever doing extensions, I started with a ½ inch. And I cut every piece as it grew like this. Well, you're supposed to do a ½ inch of cost for every club. This guy said, we'll like this. I mean, literally like a piece. I started, brother, you're supposed to cut a ½ inch to put on top of every club.
Yeah.
To extend them by a ½ inch. Well, I started a ½ inch and I cut a little bit more and a little bit more. By the time I finished, this guy's club were like a peak. I mean, his 3-iron was probably like the size of his driver. So he comes and picks them up, right? And Jeff hadn't came back from lunch yet because I did him less than an hour. All these extensions, see, tap, tap, grip. And anyway, the guy gets there and he hits him. He's hitting his 7-iron 180, 190. And he's like, wow, I like this. I like this. Right. And he's hitting his 3-iron. He's bombing his 3-iron. Right. And Jeff, the head pro, comes in from his lunch. He says, hey, let me see the club you did. He goes, oh, my goodness. What did you do? I said, I extended him. He goes, what do you mean you extended him? I said, the guy wanted a half inch. So I figured half inch, 3/4 inch, an inch. I cut every piece to put. Oh my goodness. Oh wait. He goes, no, it's a half inch cut. So anyway, long story short, he goes, talks to the guy, and the guy says, no, I want him like this. No, I don't want him doing the, to be redone anyway. Not the right way. This to me is the right way for me. And I'm like, wow, maybe I'm something. Well, it really was. I wasn't onto anything, brother. I messed up somebody's club. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but that was my first thing of retail, and I knew retail wasn't for me at that point.
Dang, man. I want to know how he hit him. That's what I'm curious
he was
now.
Bombing him. That's the problem. He was bombing him. That's like I'm telling you, the length of his 3-iron, there's standard length. I made it to the length of a driver by accident because I started a half inch and I cut the increments of the extensions by a half inch, thinking a half inch went bigger and bigger when they should have been straight across like that. That was my story to retail. And I knew at that point I needed to go back to greenside because retail, being locked in the store like that, having to fold shirts, having to answer weird questions about golf clubs, from retail is just so different than greenside. I like greenside. I like taking that phone call. Hey, you have a tee time between 8 and 12:30. I don't mind that anymore. I like it now.
Well, why don't you give our viewers an opportunity just to know a little bit more about you? Now, I like I said, I've been an admirer of yours from afar because you used to work at Alamo Golf Club, and for a lot of guys like myself, Alamo was our home, and we were there a good amount of years, and we were there all the time. We were either having a beer, either having a beer there, we're on the putting green, being there hitting some range balls at night, or just trying to sneak on and play like 9 that turn into 18 a lot of times. And so why don't you tell us how did you get into this game of golf?
So, the funny story is I got in this game when I first got introduced to this game as a kid. My mom's sister, my uncle, was a professor, and he would take me out to Brackenbridge. And it was a funny thing. I'm sitting here whacking golf balls at this course. I'm like, look at my uncle, like, you like this? I mean, you like doing this? It like makes no sense whatsoever. But he had the most enjoyment. This guy was a professor, super smart, and he would hit these beautiful shots. And at that time, I didn't understand what a good shot was. But then when I look back, I'm like, this dude was actually good. But anyway, to make a long story short, I walked away from it, got into moved away to California, got into the music business, got to being a guitar teacher, started teaching guitar at a couple of different music stores, and I made really good money on it. But I got really annoyed just teaching beginners at guitar. I didn't know how to be honest. Like, hey, you're gonna suck. No matter how much you practice at playing guitar, you're just not gonna be any good. So I didn't really make a good instructor, even though I was pretty good at it. And people still wanted to take lessons from me. I guess the honesty brought them back. I'm like, I'm going to prove to this guy can play. But to make a long story short, I went towards the government sector. I did my part in the government, militaries per se, and I wanted a way to find myself, and it's hard to say, find myself, but I wanted to find me again. Like, I lost myself at the beginning of when I, as a kid to a teenager to an adult, somewhere along in that line, I lost myself. And I remember going back, seeing my Uncle Tony hitting golf balls, and I just picked up a club. And it was the weirdest thing. I picked up a club, and it was this guy, Chris, and he worked at Alamo. He says, hey, dude, you're actually pretty good at this. I'm like, at what? He goes, hitting golf balls. I'm like, this is stupid. My Uncle Tony showed me how to do this. And he says, no, you're actually really good. Your hand and eye coordination. You can hit shots. You can hit cuts. You can hit draws. I said, what's a cut? What's a draw? I mean, I really didn't know what he was telling me, but I thought he was really playing around with me. He goes, no, we're getting ready to have this tournament. It's at Alamo. And at the time, I worked in the banking industry, and I didn't really want to leave my bank job. I mean, didn't do nothing really. I mean, a cush job behind the office, and and then I, like yourself, I was hanging out at Alamo, and he says, "No, dude, you're actually really good. You come out here, hit golf balls, and you really don't know what you're doing." I said, "No, I'm just coming to whack golf balls because this is what my Uncle Tony used to do, just come and whack golf balls." And it was funny. That's when he said, "You actually could be. I want you to actually go into the PGA program and become a pro because you look." I'm like, I was confused, brother. I mean,
I'm surprised. I'm wondering. You know what? Now I'm jelly because nobody's ever come up to me and see me swing and hit golf balls and then told me that. No one's ever told me.
Remember, only 3 people know your scorecard, brother.
It's only on 18 birdies. It's just 18 birdies. I only have 3 friends.
Anyway, that's how I got introduced. Chris got me in the PJ program. I was working at Alamo. I quit my job at the bank. I was making crazy. I mean, pretty good money. I mean, like really good money. And I got into golf, which the golf business doesn't pay a lot of money, but what I learned from it is the love of the game, just the honesty, the integrity, everything that goes into golf. And again, it goes back to finding myself. As when I got in the golf business, I got in a good relationship with the head pro there, Mac Wiley, which he's a super good PGA guy. And then at the time, Randy Jones was doing his apprenticeship under Mac Wiley. And then, of course, Chris came along, Chris Garcia, which was a really good friend of mine. And it's weird because when I really, really got into the golf, this kid, his name was Adam. He used to sit there and pick up range balls, and this little 15-year-old, 16-year-old kid, and he's like so good. I mean, not really good, but pretty good at golf. And me and him connected really, really well. And he's the one who pretty much pushed me every day. Let's go play golf. I'm like, dude, golf. You want me to go whack a golf ball around? You want me to walk? Do it? Dude, I don't know about this, but it's a good thing because along that line of finding myself, I found God, and my faith came back. I remember my faith, getting instilled in me with my mom and my dad, and how they taught me how to treat people. I was like, wait, this is the same thing how you act on the golf course. Everything just made sense. How I'm acting, towards people and trying to be a gentleman, and trying, the integrity, the honesty, and everything that goes in golf came back full circle to my faith. And, I want to say what my mom and dad did instill, but what I've forgotten, that full circle of finding myself again, I found myself in the path walking towards God, and it's one of those things where it took me from Alamo and, through Mac Wiley, what he went through with his health, and through what Randy Jones went through his health, I went through a similar incident with my health. And that same little kid that I got attached to, Adam, became a really good little brother of mine because he would sit there and knock on my door. He goes, I know you're sick. You're going to come outside of this house and we're going to go play golf. And this little kid, every day, every other day, knowing I was sick, I was at home, didn't want to get out of bed, didn't want to do anything, he would religiously come and knock on my door and says, let's go play golf. And ever since then, from going from Alamo, going to
49, you tell me, what are their increments? Oh. Man, now, sorry about that. I was messing around with somebody. I got some of my jerk off buddies over here. They're messing with me. They're commenting on here and all this stupid stuff. But I was gonna.
What they commenting? What's the comment? I
want to know. Here you go. Hold on. They're like that. I gave somebody COVID, and that. No, that they need to go check themselves because I gave one of them something. They're being stupid. They're being stupid.
Wait, when they ask you if you gave one of them something, let me ask questions. Are they itching?
No.
No itching going on.
No.
So it's not like you gave them something.
No, I think they gave me something.
So wait. Is there like touching going on?
No, 6 feet apart. 6 feet.
Well, then you couldn't have given them anything. Nothing could have been transmitted unless there's.
Hey, come on, man. Come on. It's these guys, these jerk off guys. It's Jacob and Jeremiah. These guys.
Oh, you can't wait. Jacob and Jeremiah are both in the Bible, so you really can't call them liars.
I'm not calling them liars. I'll just say that They're fibbers.
Oh, they're troublemakers.
Oh, yeah, they are. They are. But you know what? You always need some troublemakers.
Jesus hung out with troublemakers, brother. Jacob and him will fit right in.
Hey, they'll be the ringleaders. They'll be at the head of the table. All right, let's put it that way. They'll be at the head of the table.
So anyway, that's how I got in the golf business, brother. And right now, I'm currently at Fort Sam Houston. I'm one of the golf professionals there, and it's pretty cool because I'm very, very fortunate to be around a bunch of military brothers and sisters. I mean, from every branch, from Air Force to Army to Navy to Marines and Coast Guard. But anyway, them too, they're around too. And I'm very fortunate because I see a lot of people of a lot of nationalities, of every race, every religion, every gender, whatever genders they want to relate to. I really don't care. My best friend, that kid, his name is Adam. Now he's an adult. It's funny because he knows, I'm a Muslim, and him being a Christian, it's the funniest relationship because we've had this same relationship for almost coming on 20 years. And it's a pretty cool relationship because he talks about his faith. I talk about my faith. And at the end of the day, we both believe in God. He has his path. I have my path. And that other guy has his path. And at the end of the day, all those paths are going to meet together. And I'm going to say, he was wrong. He was wrong. He was wrong. And at the end of the day, like, no, dummies, that same path came to the same circle. At the end of the day, that same circles is where we're at. And hopefully we all meet up as brothers. And, I'm one of those guys that totally believe that we're all going to heaven. And a lot of people will argue with me that, no, that's not true. And I'm like,
well, you know what? I think, everyone has their own philosophies and their own beliefs. And like you stated, you're at an awesome course where you run into so many walks of life from people from different military backgrounds and different upbringings. And I think that's what this game is. It's a big binder. It's a big binder of all this melting pot, especially here in Military City, USA, in San Antonio. You learn a lot about your playing partners. You learn a lot about the people in your group, your likes and don't likes, what you want to aspire to be, or hey man, I like how this guy carries himself on the course.
Yeah, I got a phone call a week and a half ago about this Mexican guy driving up to number 1 Salado, just bumping people away. I'm looking for my friend ASA. I know what I'm doing. Never mind. Go ahead.
No, hey, okay. All right. Now we talked off air about that. All right. Now that you brought it up, thank you for bringing it up. Well, okay.
I wasn't even talking about
I'll say, okay. That is me.
Tons of short Mexicans. That's not just you.
You know what? But I stand out. Okay, I stand out.
Okay, go ahead. What were you saying?
All right. So we're there. You were there. You were working the front desk at that time. Yeah, I'm meeting my buddy Hutch there. And as I go to look for him, I see that there's all these carts there on number 1 at Salado course there at Fort Sam Houston. And as I'm driving by, some of these guys go, "Hey man, it's backed up. It's backed up. You got to wait back here. It's backed up. It's backed up." And I'm like, just whatever, right? I drive by and I look for my buddy Hutch, and then I drive back around and I see he's on the putting green, but not at the top, or the chipping green at the bottom. And I drive right by them, and I said, "Well, hey, thanks for letting me know, but nobody asked you."
Yeah, I got that call, brother.
And then I heard them, and I made sure to kind of stop a little bit after I passed them, because I wanted to hear what they say. "Hey, hit him well, buddy. Hit him well." And I said, "Oh, don't worry, I will." and so whenever I shanked one that day, or whenever I hit one OB or something, I'm like, it was those damn guys. They put some curse on me, man. Those damn jerk offs.
What kind of golf balls were you using?
Velocity.
That's the funny part. We got this bucket of lost golf balls. Majority are velocities.
I'll take them, bro. They probably got my name. They probably say return to sender on there, and they have Andy Torres' name on there. All right. Well, here, maybe, I don't know. I'm not too sure if you know him. His name's Christopher Dingman. He posts, it was okay that he wasn't number 1 either. He's good to see Roberts on the show. He's a Class A guy right there.
Oh, I love that guy.
You know Chris?
No, but I love him anyway. I mean, Chris, I come across so many people, And one of the things I've always made a habit of try to remember everybody's name. To me, it goes back to me being in a banking business. Most banks remember people by numbers. I always try to remember people by their first names. And I've come across thousands and thousands of people at Fort Sam, and that come to the desk, that come to the pro shop, that come to check in. And I really never met a bad customer. I really never. People, in the golf business will always say there's always this one bad customer. But hey, brother, how are you doing today? As being in the golf business, we're about customer service. And what I present and what I sell myself to is what I'm selling the golf course as. And when I hear other people in the golf business says, there's just always this one bad customer, I said, but what about you, brother? How are you doing today? You know what I mean? Because if you consider that a bad customer, then something in you that started your day negative translated into handling that customer saying he was a bad customer.
I totally agree with you. Every time I've spoken to you, I'm blessed, brother. I'm blessed. Stay blessed. You've always said that. And it gets me whether.
Well, that's because I know you're going on Salado, and I know I'm going to collect the velocity, brother.
Well, hey, I need it. That's why I need it. And but it's just that attitude. It can kind of get somebody out of a crappy attitude. And that's how I am in the mornings, because I teach and coach, but I do car line duty every morning, and I have to do temperature checks for all the kids in the morning. Good. And every time I see the parents are like, "Hey, coach, how you doing today?" I said, whenever you see me, it's a great day.
Amen, brother.
I said, but when you don't see me, that for car line duty in the morning, that means it's an even better day, and I'm on the golf course. And so they're like, "Oh, so when I don't see you in the mornings, that means you're out playing golf somewhere? That means I'm taking a personal day." That's correct. Well, we're here. Let's see. Somebody had something. Oh yeah, that's where I seen Robert from, Fort Sam. Great guy. I don't know if that's the same guy. I don't know if that Robert is the same guy. Robert.
No, I'll give you. One of the things I've learned, brother, in the customer service business, being in the golf business, and it relates to, I don't know, people that go through PTSD, because when they see a psychiatrist or a psychologist, they always give this analogy of drawing a 5-foot circle around you and saying, in that 5-foot circle, you control everything in it, and outside of it, you don't. I've come to learn that in my 5-foot circle, I can make every putt. And everybody that's inside that circle is going to enjoy me making putts. And it's so funny because my circle keeps on bigger and bigger. It's almost 10. It's almost 15. I can make 20-foot putts. And it's not that I'm a good putter. It's I'm surrounding myself with good people. And when I say good people, I like the customers that go to Fort Sam. I like the guys that just come and roam around the pro shop, not even going to play golf. That just wants to talk about golf. And, sometimes I look, we're not going to lie, every PGA guy, every golf professional, we look at people on the range, I'm like, dude, we sit there, we bet dollars on which way the golf ball.
Oh, damn. Well, you know what? I need to bet. I'm about that action life. I need to tell me. You send me a text and tell me when you're going to be betting, and I'll be there at the shop.
Remember that first shot you hit on Salado and you went way right?
You know what?
I got $20 from that, brother.
Oh,
just to let you know, we were all betting which way the golf ball was gonna go. And it's the same way at Loma. It's and it's again, these are people that I come across that I love these people because they always walk up to the tips. I'm like, dude, you don't hit it that long, brother. Go up, play up. But anyway, it's fun, and I like coming across all sorts of people, dude, on the golf people, especially the people that tell me that they're a 10.5 handicap or a 10.8 handicap, and they keep it on this Golf Logic app. I'm like,
That's why I use 18 birdies, because it's free. That's why.
You have 3 witnesses.
I do. One of them's on here is Hutch. Another one's on here, Jeremiah, and I think the third is my buddy Odie, but I don't know if he's on here. So.
And they'll vouch for you?
Oh yeah, they'll vouch for me. They know I shoot in the high 80s. Low 90s.
That's the number I was looking for, bro.
Okay. Well, honestly, I'm gonna tell you, my buddy that's on here giving me a bunch of crap, Jeremiah. He's number one on my Venmo because he likes to send me a lot of money after the golf rounds, if you know what I'm saying. And so I always, whenever he says, "Hey, let's play," I'm like, "Oh hell yeah, let's play. Let's do it." Like definitely, like bro, you've been paying for my rounds, you've been paying for my kids, kids' birthday parties. I'm like, man, dude, you've been putting a lot of money in my pocket, So of course I'll go play with you.
I like Jeremy too.
Jeremiah, he's good. He's good. All right, and my buddy Hutch. I don't know if you can see these. My buddy Hutch said, and Albert Hutchins. I can't express the gratitude I have for both of you. Robert has a great way of teaching and dumbing down even for a guy like me.
Hutch is good people, brother. Good people.
Oh man,
I came across that dude, for the Fairways for Warriors. Those guys mean so much to me. That I don't know if you know about the program, and a lot of people need to get aware of that program. What the Fairways for Warriors does for people, because a lot of times, there was a guy, I'm not going to mention his name out of respect because I love that guy so much that he committed suicide, and he was part of that program, and that dude touched a lot of people's lives. And the Fairways for Warriors, if we can get those brothers to bond a little bit more, to interact a little bit more, to open up and to talk to each other more and express what they're going through, because everybody knows what you're going through. You're handling it all the wrong. Some people handle it differently, and some people box it in, and again, it's how everybody handles. But if that one person can be there for that one other guy when that phone call is made, or just when you see that sign that they're trying to reach out, because PTSD isn't no joke, bro. It isn't. And the suicide rate within our military is at an all-time high. And sometimes sometimes we all fail to see those signals, those hints, that person reaching out, and again, don't be that person that ignores that phone call at 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning. Even if the guy is calling you drunk, answer that call. I promise you, brother, you'll make a difference.
And I think that's why I totally agree with you. I think that's a big reason why I'm a believer in what an organization like Fairways for Warriors does, because it was my first day out, and I think it was after a bad storm that Fort Sam was unable to host them out here. I think it was maybe like a year or two ago. There was a real bad storm, and so I know a lot of trees. Y'all had I think y'all spent the day, fixing the course, right? And so we were out at Gateway Hills, and that's where I first met the guys. And they were on a conference call with their chapter in Florida, and I think his name was Clint.
Good people.
Yeah, Clint. Yeah, good dude. I got an opportunity to play with him. He was on a conference call with their chapter in Florida, and he was talking about the suicide rates per veterans, and it hit home with my dad being in the military, fighting in Vietnam, and seeing what just a program like this can do for these people that give us so much, that have given us so much. And I really made a good connection with Hutch. Hutch is one of my good buddies, and I'm super thankful because you know what? I know he struggles, but I know he does a lot of his part to include a lot of his brothers and keep an eye on brothers and keep tabs, and he's paying it forward. And I see what golf has been therapeutic for my dad without him knowing it. And I see all the good things that there's a bunch of good group of people, these Fairways for Warriors, and Steven Escobedo now that runs it. I always want to help them out because, man, this is a great game.
Do you ever see Steven? That thing's been hunting a whole
dude. Hey, he's a good shot, man. He's a good shot. He doesn't have to remind everybody that he used to be a cop, right? He doesn't have to remind, and a Marine. He doesn't have to remind everybody.
Well, you threw out that cop first.
Well, shoot, he likes to tell us a lot of stories, man. We're out there on the course,
Good stuff, brother. Real good stuff.
Well, thank you, Robert, again, man. I appreciate what you do, and I'm super pumped up. So tell me, how many years did you serve in the Army?
I did almost 4.5 years. I wanted to do more. It took its toll on my heart, and when I elected to get out of the military sector, I stayed in touch with everybody from leadership, and without me knowing the inside of what happens and what goes on in that sector, I would never appreciate where I'm at right now. It's come full circle, meaning I had a choice at one point to leave Fort Sam to go to a private country club and be a head pro and get all this money. And it's a funny, to me, I call it my testimony. We have this tournament every first Friday of the month called the Wounded Warrior Tournament. And there's this guy that used to go every other day and bang golf balls. And I got to know him really well. And his name was Mike. And I won't say his last name out of respect. And Mike used to go bang balls, come in a pro shop, shoot the breeze with me. And, he used to play the Wounded Warrior Tournament all the time. And one Wounded Warrior Tournament, I get on the loudspeaker and say, hey, those of you that are playing the Wounded Warrior Tournament, please report your golf carts. And Mike, of all people, kept on hitting golf balls, hitting balls. I'm like, this Mike, I'm going to have a talk with you, brother, after the tournament, because of all people, you're not listening to me. Get to your golf cart, brother. Everybody else load their golf carts, take off, and Mike's banging balls. And finally, he gets in his golf cart and he takes off and he plays the tournament. So anyway, I'm sitting in the pro shop. Everybody's turning in their scorecards. And here comes Mike, and Mike was a Marine. And I said, Mike, come here, brother. And he goes, what's up? I said, dude, when I get on that loudspeaker, brother, and I tell you, for everybody that's playing the tournament, report your golf cart, don't do that to me. Don't disrespect me, brother. And it was the funniest thing ever. It happens. He leans over the counter and says, Robert, I got blown up by an ID. I have no eardrums. I feel like that, dude. I feel so, I'm so humbled at this point. I don't know what to tell the guy. It gets better, brother. It gets really good. So Mike goes and I don't know if you know, but we feed them after the tournament.
I know, because luckily enough, Hutch has invited me. I've played in a couple. I won a Marine belt from my dad.
Awesome.
Afterwards, thank God.
So the story goes is we go feed them, right? And I'm back there and I'm getting ready to do the awards. You know how we draw the tickets and we give the prices out like that. And Mike comes up to me and says, hey, Robert, my wife and my 2 kids are here. Can they eat? I'm like, dude, they can have everything. Throw everybody out at this point because I feel like that again. Anyway, so he introduced me to his wife and his 2 kids, blah, blah. And I tell the wait staff, hey, make sure they eat. Make sure they get whatever, right? So anyway, after I do the awards, I go back to the pro shop. I'm walking back, and then here comes Mike down that long hallway, right? And I said, Mike, oh my goodness, what is this guy? I mean, I already feel so bad. You know what I mean? Like I'm yelling at the guy, not knowing he got blown up from an IED, doesn't have eardrums. He's reading my lips in reality, right? So he comes to the pro shop and says, hey, Robert. I said, what's up, Mike? He goes, do you believe in God? And I'm like, I do, Mike, with all my heart, brother. I believe in God. He goes, when my oldest daughter was born, I had got deployed. So I really never per se heard her voice or heard her talk. But when I was introducing you to my wife, and to them, I heard her voice through you saying, Daddy, Daddy. That blew me away, brother.
Wow.
It blows me away because that night, I go and I have dinner and I'm sitting there, talking to other people that I'm having dinner with, and they're complaining how loud the noise is at this restaurant and how the kids beside them are screaming and everybody was talking so loud. I just sat there and like, I don't think we understand what we take for granted. The simple act of hearing this noise, of this beautiful noise. I'm thinking about my brother that I knew that day that Fort Sam was for me, that God made me that place for me. And that country club job that offered me this big position with this large sum of money wasn't about money. I said, wow, God, I'm humbled, dude. I'm humbled. And every time that I see a wounded warrior out there and I see whether he's an amputee, you'll see different kind of injuries. It humbles you in a way, brother, that I can't tell you. I can't describe. You know what I mean? And you'll know the guys that are suffering really bad from PTSD, but the minute they walk in that pro shop, brother, their eyes light up, the smile they give you. And again, it goes back to there's no bad customers, if we can all relate to that in the golf business, say everybody's going through something that day, whether it's good or bad. And what if it's bad? They're coming to the golf course to have a good time. Why are you making it worse? Why are you making it worse? You don't know why that person's a single today. You don't know why he wants to play as a single today. You don't know why he doesn't want to join anybody. But at the end of the day, being in the golf business, it's our job to make his day that much better. If we can make that person smile, we can just give him that simple smile saying, hey, dude, it's going to be okay. Welcome to the golf course. Go have fun. Here's some velocities that my buddy.
Hey, dude, I'm telling you, you better keep them for me, bro. I mean, that's the ball I play. I get some good roll, and I still get some forgiveness. And man, I need to go back and get those.
And it goes back to Hutch. When I say Hutch is a good guy.
Because dude, he's badass, man. He's badass.
He there was this thing called Fling Golf. I don't know if you ever seen it.
Yeah, with Dave Roberts, right?
Yeah, with Dave Roberts. Well, anyway, Hutch tried to do it. Stay with golf, Hutch.
He's a baseball player. He plays like hardball. He's really
good people, brother.
Dude, he's the man. And when we played out there at Gateway Hills, I was kind of testing the waters. I knew Beto, and from coaching against him because he coached at St. Anthony's middle school golf, their golf team, and so I just knew him, and I know his kids went to Antonian High School, and so I knew him previously. Well, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna play it cool, kind of see how it goes. Well, sure enough, Hutch starts giving me crap, like military guys like to do. They start calling me this sack and this bag, and this hat, that and the other. And so I'm just like, you know what? I think these guys might be my speed, and so I started giving them the business back. And I think they kind of saw that, hey, this guy's cool. This guy can be one of us, this guy can play with us.
Did you show him your handicap?
But Hutch is one of my three friends. So he knows. So he knows it.
Never mind the golf logic guy. Okay.
He knows it. Now, Robert, tell me what's some of your biggest successes that you've had in this game of golf on that coaching side?
I love teaching. Here's the deal, okay? And when it comes to the coaching side, there's two different type of teachers, okay? There's that Band-Aid teacher. That guy that's just going to give you a Band-Aid and that's going to give you a quick fix. But on that golf course one day, that Band-Aid is going to come off and you're going to be gushing blood. And you're going to be back to your doubles, your triples, your quads. You're going to be losing a lot of velocity golf balls. Or there's that second teacher that actually wants to help you. See, that's my issue. Like when in the beginning, I was telling you about the PGA. The PGA gives you this binder and they says, this is how you turn a student into a customer. I don't need a customer. I need a student, somebody that's going to listen. And it's easy for me, being a success is I can only be as successful as the person that I'm teaching puts into the game. And I tell that to people. When people approach me for lessons, there's three other instructors at Fort Sam. And, when people run into me and I'm behind the counter says, hey, do you give lessons? I said, yeah, there's three other guys that give lessons. And they say, well, do you give lessons? I said, well, how often do you practice? And the guy says, maybe once a month. I'm like, take this guy's card. But if the guy says, no, I practice, 3 or 4 times a week, I said, that's my guy. That's my student. And I tell every guy, my success is based on me giving you 1 or 2 lessons. Because if I tell you everything that has to do with the golf swing, because it's really not that hard. When people say there's a secret to it, there really is. It's very simple. And it's not based on somebody's, whether everybody has their own swing. Everybody has their own personal swing plane. Everybody bottoms out that golf club totally different. And I like the philosophy of teaching people based on their ability, based on their physique, based on, you might not be able to turn like that 18-year-old kid. That 50-year-old guy might not. So I try to base my success on if I can give you 1 lesson, I did my job. If I give you 2 lessons, I'm trying to do my job. If I give you 3 lessons, I'm my brother. MWR offers swimming lessons.
Oh, shoot.
But it's a funny thing because when some people, I'm really blunt. When people ask me for a lesson, my success, I tell them all at the end of the day, can you dance? Well, not really. I'm not a good dancer. Okay, so you don't have rhythm, you don't have tempo. So we're gonna have a little bit of issue teaching you a good, smooth golf swing, right? But if you can dance, you have tempo and you have rhythm. The musicians are the best ones for me to teach. You know what I mean? And then I've had a lot of success with military guys. Military guys are so easy to teach golf to because they understand, look, you're going to be really horrible right now. And that's the crawl. And eventually you start going to be able to hit the ball pretty well, but not good, but you're going to be able to chip. That's the walk part. When you come to the running part, which is the highest success you're going to get in PT training, where you can crawl, walk, and run, is when you're going to be hitting your driver 250, 260. You're going to be getting those scores. Those bogeys are going to come to pars, and some of the pars are going to turn to birdies, and you're going to be successful. If you want to have a game plan and you want to become successful, it's going to be based on you and what you put into the game of golf. And that's how I feel. I base myself on success, on the individual, on the student. I'm not a Band-Aid teacher. I'm not going to say, hey, just do this for a while and it's going to work for a while. If you really want to fix it, I'm going to tell you, hey, let's fix it. It's probably going to take 1 or 2 lessons. I'm going to give you a lot of information, but you'll be able to be your own instructor and you'll be able to teach yourself and you'll be able to fix yourself versus that guy. Let me give you a series of 5 lessons. I tell that guy, if you're giving somebody 5 lessons, you suck as an instructor.
Well, being a coach, that's one thing I constantly tell my kids, like when shooting a basketball. I said, you have to be able to understand why it went this way or why the ball went this way or why it went short or why it went too long. I said, you have to be able to correct yourself. If you could fix yourself, I said, you're going to be okay. I said,
there's a thing, it's called the ball flight laws. If you look it up, golf ball flight laws, and it tells you what makes the ball do different things. And it's not so much the funky swing, the loopy swing, it's at impact and everything that happens at impact, just like at pull. When you hit a pull shot, that cue ball, you can make it spin back, spin sideways, do all this. And golf is the same way, brother. And it's like you were saying, understanding why the golf ball goes that way. But in basketball, you teach basketball, right, brother?
Yes, sir.
But now just think about this. Think about a guy throwing a free throw. And you've got thousands of people yelling at him, miss, and, you son of a motherless goat, and all these funny things that they're going to say to him. And he's so focused. There he goes. He's so focused on that. And it's the same thing I tell people at the end of the day on your golf shot. If you can do what that NBA, that kid, making those free throws at the corner, courts is doing, that little bit of focus that they have, if you were to do that over your golf shot, you're going to be a scratch golfer.
Dang. Well, then I'm on my way.
No. There's only 3 people that can verify your score, brother.
All right, Robert. Now, I'm super curious. I want to hear about your student, Olivia.
Oh, no.
Because I'm going to tell you, because you know what? I've seen your Instagram post. I've seen her swing. And then I'm friends with Mike Romanowski and Jeff Young. Mm-hmm. And so they've also posted about her as well through their Mach 3, through their swing speed classes and stuff. And I'm just like, dude, this is Robert. I was like, I saw that and I was like, that's Robert. I was like, I could have sworn it's like, she looks so familiar. I was like, because I see her there hanging around the golf shop. I see her at the range at times and I see her. And then I said, you know what? That's Robert's student. And then they mentioned on there one of Robert, Vasquez's student at Fort St. And I was just like, okay, boom, makes sense. Okay.
So Livy's been, her dad, first of all, is a PGA instructor. He works for Air Force Golf, which is a sector that manages all the golf courses, all the military golf courses. Anyway, to make a short story short, her dad does the junior clinics there at Fort Sam, which is free to every junior. We offer free clinics to every junior golfer because our main mission as golf instructors, being in the government military sector, is to pass the game forward, to play the game forward, to get juniors involved. Because at the end of the day, you and me are not the future of golf. I mean, let's be honest. It's going to be
unfortunately.
Wow, you got a 10-point handicap, brother.
10.4. 10.4. All right, let's get it straight, bro.
Anyway, those junior golfers, Livia, she's been playing for 2 years, and her dad's a PGA guy, and he comes up to me and says, "Hey, Robert, because I had this other kid. His name is Jordan Anderson. I'm going to mention his name. That kid, Jordan Anderson, is just probably one of my favorite of all-time favorites besides before I met Livia, because this kid was like Livia. He hung out at the golf course every day. He was banging balls every day. He would say, how do I get better? I said, you see that short game area there, Jordan? I just want you to chip for 3 or 4 hours, and don't come and ask me for a lesson until you can chip, until you can hit every hole. And we talked about proximity. Anyway, Livia came, her dad came to me and says, hey, I'm having a hard time teaching my own daughter. And I know you're good building collegiate golfers. And I said, how dedicated is she? Does she want to play golf? Because there's helicopter parents, brother, and they force their kids to play golf. And he goes, she's pretty dedicated. He goes, I'll let you talk to her. So she comes up to me and says, I know what you did with Jordan, which they both go to Churchill. And Jordan was the #1 player on Churchill, and he was pretty ranked high up there in the state of Texas. And she goes, I want to be like Jordan. She goes, I want to have that same game, that same mentality, the same short game, the same putting, everything, that you did with him. And she started mentioning other juniors that I worked with and their success rate and what I've done with the junior golfers. And I said, Livy, how often do you practice? She goes, how often do you want me to practice? So, she hits balls every day. She has the same practice regimen that she goes and she'll chip. And just for me, just to see a female that has more drive than most male golfers. She's out there banging balls. She's out there chipping. She's out there putting. And when she came to me from her dad, remember her dad is the PGA instructor. She was hitting in the 90s and some peaking up in the high 80s. And she came to me and we brought her all the way down from those numbers. And now she hits 76, 75, 74, 72, 71, 70. And she's hitting the red numbers. And she's got that itch already for that red number. She doesn't go into a tournament anymore thinking she just wants to play good. She goes into a tournament saying, I'm going to win.
She wants to go low. She wants to go low doing it.
She doesn't think about low. She just thinks about, I want to win that tournament. She's out there not just to beat the field. She's out there to beat the golf course and try to beat her best score the last time she shot. And she's probably right now, and I'm going to say it to everybody, she's probably my favorite student, because not only does she absorb everything I teach her as far as golf, she's out there helping other people with their golf swing. And she doesn't ask anything from, they'll see her banging balls and they'll say, hey, do you mind looking at my swing? And she'll tell them. And I sit there and listen to her and say, wow, this kid actually listened to everything I taught her. And now she's teaching other people. And it's a beautiful thing, because she has several different universities that are looking at her right now. And she has the wherewithal to say, hey, I don't want to go there. I want to go there. I don't want to go there. I don't want to. She has choices right now. It's a beautiful thing to see happening to her, especially being a female golfer. And again, I can't stress how much she is my favorite student.
I had Ty Roberts on the show. I had Dave Roberts' son on here. And
Ethan?
Dave Roberts, Ty. Ty Roberts. And he's got incredible junior golf numbers. He's won, I think right now he's at 125 junior golf tournament victories. And that's the same thing, that I heard from him, is that he's not concerned with going low. He's concerned with winning. He's concerned with beating the course. And it seems like those great players, that's the attitude they have. They have that idea of, I'm going to beat the course. It's me against the course, not me against somebody else.
Yeah, the thing I tell every junior golfer, I tell them, I'm going to tell you the easiest way to play golf. And golf is 18 games, all individual and all unique. And the designer of that golf course, he made each hole differently. And all you have to do is go out there and either beat the game by parring it, birdie it, and embarrass the designer. If you bogey it, the designer of that course wins. So if you go into it and playing 18 different games in a round of golf, and once you add up those numbers, you're going to see you shot a low number because you only paid attention to one hole at a time and one score at a time and trying to beat that individual game. And I think that mentality for the majority of my junior golfers that have ingrained that mentality, they go out there trying to beat each game like a video game, saying there's 18 games in this round of golf, and I'm going to try to beat each one. And when they look at that scorecard, they're like, "Holy cow, I shot a good number." I'm like, "That's because you played 18 games, not one game."
I like the way you look at it. I'm trying to think, and I said, damn, what I like to do the night before I play a course, I like to try to play the course out in my mind. And I guess it helps me go to sleep because I'm like, shoot, I don't even remember playing 18 in my head.
Where do you buy the majority of these velocity golf balls from?
Well, let me show you. I'm gonna show you real quick here. Hold on. Oh, I don't know if I could get to it. I know we're live, but you know what? I found this one girl on Facebook that she's selling these velocity golf balls. She was selling a dozen, $8 per dozen. And I said, how many do you have? She says, I have about 10 dozen. I told her, I'll take them home.
Holy cow. And the funny part is we got the other half of them at Fort Sam.
You got a third of them. Okay, let's be realistic. And I'm going to tell you, these balls came in great freaking shape. I mean, I'd say they're what are they? The top grade of, ball or whatever. I don't know what the grades are, but for used balls, whatever. And I said, how did you get these? Because these are in great freaking shape. And she said, well, somebody who works at a golf course sells them to me, and then I resell them. And I said, shoot. They said, okay, collect another 10 dozen, and when you have them, just let me know. Boom, I'll buy them.
Let me give a shout out to Mock Speed. Those guys know what they're doing, brother.
Oh no, they're awesome, man. They're awesome. Jeff and Sarah and Mike, dude, they're the best. Yeah. I was about to ask you, what did you think about when you went out there? What did you think about that?
The thing is everybody was talking about this. Hey, Mock Speed, Mock this. I'm like, you can get your swing speed fast. And a lot has to do with your physical ability. It's how much you can turn, how much you can stretch, etc. And I heard a bunch of golfers chit chatter about this Mock Speed. So I reached out to Mike originally, right? And I said, hey, Mike, I want to attend some of your classes, and tell me a little bit about it. And he got into it and told me about what they do and what it consists of. And he asked me a little bit myself. And once I told him, I was a golf professional, he went into the mode like, whoa, wait, are you going to steal my program? I'm like, dude, why? I'm a golf professional. I teach golf. I don't teach speed training, right? And he was a little bit leery about me attending. And, I gave him some names. I hate to do that.
Name drop.
I name dropped. Okay. He called me back. We got off the phone call. He called me back less than 10 minutes. Says, no, Robert. Okay, I want you to go. I'm like, well, okay. I don't know who he talked to or what got said to him because, yeah, I want you to go. So I said, okay. He gives me Jeff's number, right? And he's thinking that it was just for me. Well, it was really for Olivia. I wanted Olivia, because again, through this whole, these last probably 20, and probably longer, extended more, maybe more long. I'm going to say longer before I noticed the inequality in gender equality. And when you looked at, through the transgression of females, okay, and I'm a big supporter of gender equality. So it gets easier because I'm saying, here's a girl that has the drive, the enthusiasm. She wants to be a pro golfer. She wants to go collegiate and she wants to be a pro golfer. She wants to make a difference in people's lives and just, being a good person on and off the golf course. And I said, I'm going to invest a little bit. So I got Jeff's number from Mike and I called Jeff. I said, yeah, I want to go out there, but I also want to bring one of my students. And he just listening to him. He was, what? No way. I got a golf instructor and a student at the same time. I'm like, yeah. And Jeff, just his enthusiasm made me want to go that day. But of course, we had to set up a meeting and stuff like that. And when we first got there, we did a series of drills, and it was just probably the coolest thing I've ever been through, because not just the system of Mock Speed, but the presentation of Jeff himself, it goes back to that, what I'm saying in the golf business, and I'll transpire it to Jeff, is that customer service. That dude made me and Olivia felt so welcome. He made it seem like he knew us already, that we were his friends already. He knew about it. I mean, he was just one of those guys that was in the customer service business, and he handled himself to the way that if I wanted somebody to represent me in my business, that's the kind of guy I would want, and he, again, going through the training and stuff like that, I knew that me and Olivia were going to keep on attending here. And to see Olivia's numbers start one way and to see him go up and go up and go up and go up, I'm a firm believer. And it wasn't really for me. I had a challenge with Olivia. I said, Olivia, let's see who can get faster as far as the golf swing, the teacher or the student. And I just see Olivia's number goes, and Robert's like, and she's a kid, brother. I'm like, good Lord. And Jeff will tell you her progression, and where she's at right now is just ridiculous, brother. Because when a girl hits it further than you, brother, and she's 5'3", it proves to you it has nothing to do with size. It really has nothing to do with height. It has nothing to do with how heavy you are, how bulky you are. It has to pretty much do with speed. You know what I mean? And
Jeff, well, I'm glad to hear that, because I'm 5'4", and I'm not a big dude. And
I read your bio, brother. It said 5'3".
I'm 5'4" on good days, and every day lately it's been a good day. So I'm 5'4". And so Jeff is an awesome guy. I've played a couple of rounds of golf with him. I frequently talk to him. He's a good dude. I've attended some of their 5 a.m. workouts, and I wish I could just go more. I wish I had more time to make it there. I wish I did.
As a golf instructor, most golf instructors would say, "Hey, take a golf lesson." You know what I mean? If you're probably a 7 to a 20 handicap to a scratch to a pretty good golfer, I would still highly recommend mock speed training, brother. It's made a difference in my golf swing, but to see it work in the aggressive concept of a teenager like Olivia, to where she's progressed and she's hitting the ball further, I'm a firm believer in it, brother. And Jeff is an outstanding dude. I can't stress it enough. That dude's a true badass.
They're great. They're great people in this game of golf, and any and everybody that I've spoken to and that wants to increase their speeds, they want to do with the swing speed, the sticks, or those clubs. I said, hey man, those are some heavy tools. You could hurt yourself by using those. I like a lot of the cool tools they have. The Black Mamba, the Raptor. They have the Jet Stick or whatever. They have all these cool names. For all these different apparatuses they have. And they're good guys, and anybody that I talk to, I always try to send them to them. I truly wish that I could be there more. I really do, because the proof is in the pudding, and those numbers have gone up, and that's from golfers. It doesn't matter what age they are. Everyone has improved their swing speed.
100%, brother. 100%. I agree.
All right. Now, on a little lighter note, what's your favorite golf movie?
Oh. I don't really have a favorite golf movie. It's one of those things that I play a lot of golf, and I play a lot of golf with a lot of different people. And I've seen some people hit some funky shots that are going to make me laugh, and some people that just do some outrageous shots that I would see a pro hit. So when people ask me, do you have a favorite golf movie? I said, I play golf every day. Every day is a movie to me, dude, because I can see a general that I play, and I won't name the general's name. I've seen him move his ball. I've seen him cheat. That's the best movie I've ever seen today. I played with some really good Sergeant Major. I played with this one Sergeant Major a lot. And this guy on hole number 13 on Loma, I'm standing by my golf cart, and he's at the tee box, and he shanks a driver. He literally hits me on the head and hits the cart, bouncing around. I'm like, that's the best movie I've seen today. You know what I mean? Because I've had a lot of good time playing golf. So I don't really per se, I have a favorite golf movie. Every day is a good golf movie to me, brother, because I hear people come in, say I shot, so-and-so under par. Dude, you shot 85 last week, and you're telling me you shot 69 this week. No, it's one of those things. I really don't have a favorite golf movie. I try to look at every day that I'm on a golf course, that I'm playing golf and I'm having fun with somebody else, and I play just with strangers on the golf course. Every day is a good movie for me, brother.
All right. What's your favorite course here in town? And I don't want you to say Fort Sam. What would you say is your favorite course here around town or in the South Texas area?
So if I'm in San Antonio, I get stuck playing one of the courses in San Antonio, I'm going to go to Sonterra North, and I'm going to play the Sonterra North course. That's probably my favorite course. If I wanted to go hang out with guys and make it a little bit more spiritual, I'm going to go to Brack, because Brack is one of those courses that I find real spiritual, and I find my connection just walking those fairways. It's a short course, so I can walk it with friends, and I can hang out with friends, and I can talk to friends and BS with friends. So, I'm going to put Sonterra North as my first course, and I'm going to say I want to go to the second course. I would say would be Brackenbridge, and the third course is always going to be, my home course, which is Salado. I love Salado. I'm not going to say I'm going to go to Loma. I'm going to say if I go to Salado and, and I have to go use the restroom, and I go in the woods and I'm looking down, I see a velocity ball. I'm like, whoa, hey.
You're not going to let me live it down, are you? You're not going to let me live it down.
I was just saying, but no, in general, if I had a favorite golf course, it would be Sonterra North. And if it had something to do where people want to talk and have a good time and just, have that spiritual connection, I'm going to go to Brack, and of course, if I just want to hang out and try to make money off the guy that says I want to beat the golf pro, I said, let's go to Salado.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you really have to know how to play that. You really have to know how to play that course.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Like you said, I hit it right. Well, you know what? That was a lie, because I took out driver and I hit it, and I tried to go left.
You hit the fence? Fence?
Yeah. I didn't find it. So I think I got caught in those bushes. I saw a lot of range balls. So you know what? Normally, that's what I play with range balls too. If it says practice on it, those are the ones I use too.
No. We found those too.
Man, I love Sonterra North, and out of all the people I've had on the course, I think you're the first one to say that that's their favorite course, one of their favorite courses here in town. I think it's such a challenging course. I can't remember what hole it was, but it was on the back. Oh man, or maybe the front. It's the one hole, the par 5 that has all the bunkers surrounding it.
That's a beautiful one, brother. That's beautiful. That's on the back 9.
It's on the back. Okay, it's got a fairway bunker on the left, another fairway bunker on the right, and I don't know how many bunkers it has surrounding it, but I'm going to tell you, I went from I hit in that fairway bunker, and then I hit out of that out, and then I hit to another bunker, and then I hit to another bunker, and then I hit to the side of it, another bunker, and I say, you know what? That I was literally going to quit the damn game of golf from that hole.
Well, you're lane 7, of course. If you're lane 7.
And I'm not even on the green. I'm not even on the green.
So no, I like, Sonterra is real special to me, and only because I use Sonterra as a metaphor. Like you just said, Sonterra is pretty hard. And it's got bunkers, and it's one of the hardest courses in San Antonio. I think a little bit harder than TPC, just my opinion from the tips. And you look at all these bunkers, right? And you look at all these hazards on that golf course. And I tell myself, spiritually, I want to avoid those hazards in life like I avoid the hazards on the golf course. And if I get in the hazard in life or in the golf course, it's about how I can create a beautiful recovery. Not so much about how do I get out or who's looking at me. It's how do I make it so much of a beautiful shot that I'm going to enjoy the shot. Even if I went from one bunker to another bunker, to another bunker, to another bunker, to another bunker, and I'm lane 7, I'm going to still tell myself it's about that beautiful recovery that I need to get on this green to save my 8, to save my 9. I mean, of course, I don't get that high of a number, but I'm just saying. Well, you see what I'm saying, but at the end of the day, it's about the beautiful recovery. I mean, because we can all say almost is our favorite course because it's a wide open course, and you can pretty much hit the ball, you can hook it, you can slice it, you can go anywhere, and you can still have a shot into the green. But at the end of the day, give me that challenge. The same challenge that I go through live You know, as the same challenge as I want to go on the golf course, and I want to make each shot a beautiful recovery. And I want to have that adversity. I want to have that challenge. So Sonterra North is the course for me, and I've always played it well. Don't ask me why. I've always played that course well.
Now, I love the way you use a lot of metaphors in the game of golf, and I think that's one thing that really that drew me to you, because I do see a lot of your posts on Instagram, and you're very positive. You're a very positive person, and I've learned over the years that I'm more pulled in towards positive people, because at a lot of times, a lot of my friends know me. I could be really negative or critical, and I like to stir. I like to stir the pot. That I'm that guy. Like
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm that guy that I feel like it's hard to rattle me, but I like to push buttons, and I like to poke the bear.
Well,
And
you know, here's the thing. What I say, you know, about metaphors, and when I use a lot of golf metaphors when I give lessons to everybody, and it's one of the first things I ask, you know, do you believe in God? And if they say, yeah, I believe in God, I can use a lot of spiritual, you know, and metaphors towards their golf game. You know, and if they say don't believe in God, you know, we'll go in somewhere else, and I'll ask personal questions before we go into the lesson and say, hey, what do you do for a living? What do you like? What sports? And I can always use a metaphor that's going to relate to the game of golf, you know. And I tell everybody at the day, I don't care if you're religious, if you're not religious, I don't care. But if you're religious, there's a messenger for every religion and every way of life. And I ask them, did you receive your messenger's message? Because I did. And it's to be, you know, treat everybody like you want to be treated. And everybody has that same message. And, you know, at the end of the day, we ask ourselves, we're in the customer service business in life. I'm trying to affect that person's life in the positive way. You know, if I can smile at a complete stranger, to me, that's a true blessing I can give that person, because I don't know what that person's going through that day. But if I can make a difference, if we can all simply take that time of that day to talk to a stranger, to acknowledge a stranger, to simply say hi, to simply say, hey, have a good day. Hey, you know, have a blessed day, you know, and that person would probably do the same thing for somebody else. And if it can be a trickle effect, but that we can all treat each other like equals. And, you know, one of the common prayers that I have, that I say every night, you know, and it's probably really weird that I say it, I always say, God, make us all colorblind, so that way we can see each other for who we truly are, you know. And again, if we can get away from that way of seeing each other in labels, I think we'll be a whole lot better race, a human race, as in humanity.
no, man, amen. I love hearing that, because that's something I always try to teach my kids, not only just my kids, but the kids I teach and coach as well, is that, hey, man, God made everybody not to be ordinary. You know, God made everybody special. And you have to respect others as you know, want people to respect you. And one thing I've really tried, I said, you know what, if we all just loved a little bit more, a little bit harder, and respected people more, I think, man, this world would grow leaps and bounds from where we're at right now. And I truly think that. And that's why I one of the first things I teach the kids when we're out on the course is I teach them golf etiquette. I said, hey, you know what? You could write down a 4 if you got a 5. I said, you can sure do that. You could. I was like, but at the end of the day, you have to answer to yourself and nobody else. And I said, so you know what? That's why I love this game. It's a game of integrity. You can learn a lot by riding in a cart with somebody. And you know what? That's why, like I said, that's what drew me to you. I said, man, I love positive people. I love the positive influences, because there's so much crap going on in this world today.
Oh, no doubt, brother. You know, one of the things I heard, I got this mentor of mine. Her name is Colonel Carmen. She's a full bird colonel, and she's a female. And when she was retiring, she goes, Robert, I need you to go to my retirement party. I'm like, oh, Colonel Carmen, well, I mean, I'm working at the golf course. And she goes, well, I'm going to have it at the golf course. I'm going to have it at Fort Sam. And I said, well, I'm going to be working that day. I tried everything to avoid, because I didn't want to get put in front of a crowd. You know what I mean? when she invited me, I'm like, oh my goodness, what's gonna go on? What's going on with it? And I remember when she was giving her speech, she goes, I learned a lot from being around golf. And she goes, I learned a lot, and I told her, whatever you do, don't say my name, Colonel Carmen, don't embarrass me, because I'll walk off, just being me, you know, uh, she goes, I learned a lot, and I learned a lot from a golf pro. And, at Fort Sam, she goes, I'm going to relay what I learned. She goes, there's this guy that treats everybody the same way. He doesn't care how you're dressed as a golfer, how you walk in as a golfer, how you look as a golfer. He's going to treat you the same way. And she's, what I'm getting to is, she's talking to her fellow military people in the crowd, and she goes, when you look at a soldier in uniform, I don't care whether he's a E1, he's a E9, he's a 04, 06. Respect the person in the uniform. Don't respect the rank. And it hit me really hard, because again, doing my mentorship and mentoring her, I learned, just by her acknowledging the way, her looking at me, it made me feel real special, saying, wow, I think I've learned a lot from her mentorship, and she's acknowledging what she's taught me, how to look at people as a person, not judge them by how they look, what they're wearing. And this is just being in the golf business, because, in the golfers want to dress. Golfers want to match all the way, even though they're horrible golfers. They want to
look, brother. You can see my shoe collection right there. There it is.
What are those, Converse?
Sorry, man. It's all Nike.
They look like Chuck Taylor's, brother.
Hey.
If you wore Chuck Taylor's playing golf, you would be pimp.
Oh, you know what, man? That's a good idea, though. I do have some Chucks. I do, because again,
they have these little spikes that they sell now that you can screw onto.
Yeah, they're called golf kicks.
Just think if you can wear Chucks, dude. Every color of Chucks.
No, the Chucks I have, I'm a little bit more. I like to think now, but maybe they're about 2 years ago, because I'm really 2 or 3 years behind on the fashion sense.
Okay, so
which is perfect for me.
It's back to what I was saying. She taught me how to not look at people like that. You know what I mean? Because again, just think of going in the country club. They expect you to look a certain way going to the country club, and they judge you based on how you look going to the country club. Being at a military installation, I see guys working their BUs, coming in uniform, coming in their PTs, and just guys, regular golfers that come in, and I hate to say it, come in blue jeans shorts, coming in T-shirts. At the end of the day, I learned from her, don't look at that person. Don't look at that person. Don't judge that person how he's dressed. Judge him how he is inside, meaning as a golfer. And it hit me when she said that to her fellow military personnel during her retirement, is, hey, don't look at the rank, whether it's E1, 06, general. Respect the person in the uniform. And it's carried to me as far as in the customer service business and in the golf business now, that I treat everybody the same, brother. I treat everybody the same. I don't care who you are, how you look when you walk in there. I could see a guy that comes in cut off blue jeans and a muscle beater, and this guy's shooting 65, 64.
I totally agree. You know what? I've seen somebody hit barefoot for 18 holes and be on the green, having opportunity for birdie or eagle every other hole. And I'm just like, dude, you're hitting barefoot. And he said, I know. The golf club, he said, the golf spikes just restrict me so much. I feel so free out here. And I'm just like, it got me at home. I said, damn, I need to take off my shoes, or what the hell, man? This dude was stroking. All right. Who are you playing your last round of golf with?
Well, I mean, it comes down to my spirituality again. I'm always playing golf with God, and God beats me a lot, brother. And if I have my last round of golf, it's gonna be with that dude. And I'm not going down easy, brother.
Hey, God's undefeated, man. Just let you know that. He's undefeated.
That's why you asked me what's my last round of golf. I'm like, brother, we're gonna do this right. Because if I'm going to heaven, I can't lose in heaven. And I'm gonna remind them about that. Everything's perfect in heaven, God, remember. I can't lose, brother.
Craziest thing that you've seen out there on the course, or that you've witnessed or you heard going on your course?
Okay, so look,
I need the juice, man. I need the jugo. I need something, man. I need something juicy.
Okay, well, I can't name names on this. Okay, so
You don't have to name names. Just hit me. Say different names to protect the innocent.
Okay, so we have a huge parking lot. You know that Fort Sam has a huge parking lot, and always being aware of your surroundings. You always know what cars and cars that are parked in your parking lot, and the personal golf carts, and where your golf carts are. So anyway, short story. So there was always this. I can't say the name of the car. Okay, anyway, there was a white Cadillac that used to always park in the way back of our parking lot. I hate this. I mean, it's the only way I could tell the story.
Tell it.
This white Cadillac used to park way at the back of the parking lot at Port Sam. And the cart guy started noticing. Everybody started noticing. And during lunch, this truck would always pull up besides this white car. And we're like, what is going on there? Like, oh, there's a lady in the white car, and there's a guy coming out of the truck that used to come every lunch, and he used to hop in her car. And I remember one day the cart guy says, "Hey, you need to go check out what's going on in the parking lot." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, that car that's always parked, that's always been doing for years, brother. This has been going on for years." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, fine, I'll go because I want to know, right?" So, I pretty much knew already, right? So I go, and here I am driving with the golf cart all the way to the back of the parking lot, and I see the movement in the car. I'm like, hey, knock, knock, knock. Perfect time, brother. What are you doing on a military installation naked, and she's naked, and they're like panicking, freaking out because I'm sitting there, and I'm like, this is actually pretty cool because this has been going on for years, and we never really believed our cart staff, because cart staff would say, "Hey, there's people in the parking lot having sex." I'm like, no, that car, because being in military installation, sometimes people don't have the right tags for the car, so they park the car at Fort Sam, and somebody picks them up and takes them on post. I shouldn't really be saying that, but it does.
It happens. So you were trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, right?
Right. So I get out there, and of course, they're doing the thing, and then, it seems really weird because I knew both of the people. I knew the female, and I knew the male, and I knew her husband. I knew his wife, and they weren't husband and wife.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's probably one of the weirdest things I've seen. But don't get me wrong, because the majority of guys that I play out there are either active duty or retirees, and the majority of, I'm gonna say 90% of people that I play with are sergeant majors, and a lot of those sergeant majors are fun to play with, brother, because they get upset, dude, and they throw clubs, dude. I'll give you an example. If I play with the Air Force guy and the Air Force guy gets mad, he goes, "God dang it." Okay, I play with an Army guy, and the Army guy is fucking every F word, right?
Here, one of the people posted, "Did you watch?"
I had to go witness, brother.
So that's a yes. Hey, that's a yes. That's a yes.
Well, I knocked on the window, bro. I knocked on the wood. I wanted to make sure they were okay.
you want to make sure they're okay.
So anyway, it's that, playing with the sergeant majors, again, the Air Force guys, when they get mad, it's real subtle. God dang it. The Army guys, they throw a bunch of F words out there. The Navy guys, of course, they're drunk. They're throwing clubs. The funniest guys are the guys that break their clubs are typically the Marine guys that I play golf with. They'll snap their clubs. They'll throw their clubs. And the same guys, they're trying to start a fight with the guy beside me and said, "Brother, that's why I don't want the Marines here playing golf with me, dude, because y'all guys are the worst ones." But again, to me, the weirdest things I've seen was that car, them two, of course, to just be honest, they were having sex. But some of the funniest things I seen are the way the sergeant majors play golf. I mean, these guys are just horrible. I mean, horrible. They're hitting thousands of shots. But why I like playing golf with them is because you got to think about, these guys are sergeant majors, and some of them are command sergeant majors, and they're used to the highest success level. And to see them fail at golf and humble themselves, I just sit there laughing. I'm like, dude, I'm having such a great.
You're having a blast.
I'm having a blast, and they know I'm having a blast watching them. It to me that's probably. I mean, again, brother, I see some weird. I can tell you the weird things I see every day, brother. I mean, golf course, brother, and then being on a military installation, they don't have any. They don't care. I mean, because they're used to being in the showers together. They're used to being naked. So some of the stuff I can tell you, some of the stuff I've seen on the golf course with our soldiers.
Tell me, have you ever had to call the MPs out there for
Yes.
somebody?
Oh yes, brother. Oh
yes.
Okay, I'll give you.
That's what I hear. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
I'm going to give you a good story. So, there's a guy that checks in. He's a gunny in the Marine Corps, and he checks in. He wants to walk, and he goes on the Salado course, right? And he's playing Salado, and he calls me on hole number 2. He goes, "Hey, guy, you need to come out here. Some guy just hit into me, right?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, he's the Marine guy's a walker, and he goes, "Yeah, there's some guy, hit into me." I'm like, "Okay, whatever, slow player, whatever. Give it no thought. It'll go away." He calls me on the 3rd hole on Solano and says, "This guy literally almost hit me on the top of my head. He hit into me." So at that point, I said, okay, the guy's an active duty soldier. I have to go out there because if it's getting like that, and first he's a Marine. I said, oh, shit, something's going to happen because the Marine is not going to stand down, brother. So I go out there. I have to close the pro shop, first of all. So I close down the pro shop. I go out there, and then I go to the green on hole number 3, Salado, the par 5. And as I'm driving up, I see this cart that's backing out of this gas pipe that we have by the green. He hit the cart. He broke the windshield. And I'm going up to the guy on the green, the Marine guy. I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "That guy almost hit me." And I'm watching the guy back out the cart. He wrecked it, and he hit it in the gas line. And he goes to hole number 4, Salado, on top of the hill.
Yeah, on top of the hill.
So I approach him, and he's a civilian. At that time, we allowed civilians on the course. And I said, "Hey, brother, that guy said you tried to hit him with a golf shot." He goes, "I didn't try to hit him. He put his hands in the air like a for me to hit a field goal." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" The Marine guy's like, "What are you doing hitting into me?" And the guy said he was doing like a field goal. The guy was literally drunk. I said, "Okay, hey, brother, I know you're civilian. I'm going to need you to come with me back, And he goes, "Who's going to make me?" I mean, he got all buck on me. I'm like, dude, I didn't really want to get in a fight with him, because, his guy is drunk, of course. I'm, whatever. Make a long story short. The Marine guy comes over. He goes, "Hey, you okay, brother?" I said, "I'm okay." And I'm like, oh, my God, this guy's going to get in a fight with him now. You know what I mean? At that point, I called the MPs, And I'm going to tell the story anyway because this is a really good story. So the MPs get there, and they tell me what's going on. I tell them about the civilian. I show them the golf court, where it's wrecked, like that, stuff like that. And
my buddy, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but my buddy goes 3 points because he got it.
He did.
He almost hit the upright.
You almost hit a Marine in the head. That 3 points is that Marine would have made you have 3 points. Anyway, so the MPs get there, and I tell them the story. They show the golf cart, destruction of federal property, and the civilian is sitting there, and it's so funny because I know majority of the MPs, whether the security forces, where it's an active duty or what's the MP. I asked the MP, "Hey, buddy, you got your body cam on?" He goes, "Not yet." "Why?" He goes, "I'm going to turn it on in a second." And the Marine goes up to that guy, goes, "That civilian threatened me. He said, I'm the one who called the cop." And he goes, "If I ever see you again," the civilian's yelling to that Marine, "If I see you on the golf course, me and you're going to have words." And I looked at that civilian, like, oh my goodness, that MP goes, pow, 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 pow. I mean, he jacked that civilian. I mean, I'm like, holy cow. I mean, when I say he jacked him, brother, he didn't have his body cam on, brother. That dude got jacked. I'm like, okay. I mean, I felt bad for calling the MPs, but again, if that MP didn't jack that civilian, that Marine was about to jack that civilian. And that's not the only time we have to call the MPs, not a lot, but at some times when, and it's a majority, it's always civilians, because if you talk to a soldier and tell a soldier you had enough to drink, or what's your name, what's your rank, what's your CO, they straighten up pretty quick and they will leave when you ask them to leave. But typically it's usually a civilian that we have to call the MPs on.
Has anyone ever pissed you off when you've played with them in a foursome or anything like that?
Have somebody pissed me off? Okay, so the only thing that really upsets me at Fort Sam, there's not anything. I mean, you cannot upset me. There's nothing you can say to me. Even you said your mama jokes, it's not gonna upset me. There's nothing that can upset me. But I remember this one time that I was playing with his buddy Rich. I'm gonna say Richard's full name. I think it's Salinas, Richard Salinas. But
I like how you don't mention any names. I like that.
It could be, But anyway, we're playing on Loma on hole number 3. The par 5 on Loma, along the military cemetery. Mm-hmm. So again, there's nothing that gets me mad, brother. I mean, nothing. I'm that guy that's always in a good mood. But you got
to ring the bell there because it's like a blind. Yeah, it's a blind shot.
Think about that area. He goes in the bushes and he urinates. I lose my shit. I said, Richard, right there is the military cemetery. That's where my family's buried. That's where my other fellow soldiers were. That's where every military guy. I mean, I lost my cool like I've never lost it, brother. I mean, that's probably the only time that I've really got mad at anybody at the golf course because I took offense to it. Because again, you're urinating right there to what I consider very sacred. It's
holy ground, it's sacred ground.
Well, our military personnel is, and probably that's the only time that anybody's ever got me really, really mad. I mean, I could see the fairways for Warriors, drive on my green, drive on my tee box. I'm not going to throw out names, but that doesn't even get me mad. The only thing that really, really gets me upset is if I see a golfer or fellow golfer or anybody urinating in that area by our military cemetery. You'll see me lose it. I will lose it.
Favorite hole on the course?
Ooh, favorite hole on the course. I'm gonna say 14 Loma.
14 Loma. Okay.
Describe
it to me.
It's that really narrow hole in the back nine. We call it amen corner because you start at 14. It's got a little creek in front that you have to avoid. Then it's got the next hole 15 that turns and it's got a pond in front.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
It's a super narrow hole and most people can't par it. Most people cannot par it out there. I've came to the conclusion that even if I have to hit a 5-iron and a hybrid, I'm going to par that hole. If I hit a driver, I'm going to go into the creek. If I hit a 3-wood, I'm behind the trees. There's times I hit a 7-iron and a 3-wood just to get on that hole to par it. That's my favorite hole. It's the most challenging hole out there.
It is pretty tough or challenging. Well, Robert, do you have any questions for me?
That barrel of golf balls velocity that we have at the pro shop, do you want to buy them back?
So I'll take them, man. But hey, only at a good rate.
What did that girl sell them to you for?
It was $5 a dozen.
Okay, so now these are sentimental golf balls because they belong to you.
You know what? I'm a spiritual person like you. They belong to the earth now.
I'm going to shout out to Hutch. Hutch, if you want his golf balls, come by the pro shop. I'll get them to you.
Well, hey, Robert, I appreciate it. If you want a good lesson, if you want to talk a good game of golf, Robert's out there. Robert Vasquez is out there at Fort Sam. 2 great courses. You have La Loma and you have Salado. Hey, Robert, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for being on, dude. You're a gem in the game, and that's what I'm really trying to do, man. I'm trying to expose people and programs and golfers like you out there, man. I appreciate you being on the show.
To everybody that's watching, I love you guys no matter what.
All right, brother. I'm going to log off here real quick, but stay on because I'm going to talk to you just for a little bit afterwards.
Okay, brother.
Well, hey, thank y'all for joining the show. I really appreciate y'all listening. I appreciate all those crazy, stupid comments that everyone's saying over here, making me laugh. All right, I just want to give a little shout out to my sponsor, Rudy Mendez at For Life Supplements. And I'm super thankful for my buddy Rudy. He sponsored me. He sponsored this show. And I just want to give a little shout out to him and his company. All right, we got For Life over here together, building people. And Rudy's a good buddy of mine. And he puts out some really good products here. He's an independent seller, independent distributor. Rudy Mendez. Educate your immune system to recognize, respond to, and remember threats in the body. Check out For Life if you ever get a chance. Thank you for enjoying the show. Please check out www.nothingisobgolf.com. I'm on iTunes. I'm on SoundCloud. Once again, thanks, Robert. Have a good night, brother.